Artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence.
AI. AI.
Free AI.
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 An AI image data set.
And how it can create performances that don't exist.
It's a life sentence, potentially, for people who have to experience this.
Hollywood film and TV writers are on strike.
Many artists never gave their consent.
We've never seen it at this level.
A 22-year-old man was sentenced for posting altered images of more than a dozen women on a site.
Why did you create images of young women in films?
This is what it looks like to see yourself naked against your will being spread all over the internet.
If you have video on TikTok, if you have an image of yourself on Instagram, you now are at risk.
It's so crazy how quickly it's advancing.
And in fact, there is no way to know what abilities it has.
It's kind of a dystopian thing to be dealing with now.
If you've clicked on this video, AI probably concerns you in some way, which probably means you've seen enough videos talking about how to protect your job from AI, how to protect yourself from AI as an artist, and what you can do to stop that. So instead, I want to make a video that deep dives into why and how exactly it's happening in the first place. This is definitely not going to be my last video on AI. As an artist, in the industry, and as a woman, I'm pissed, and I think we all should be. I have a whole lot more planned. So if you're interested and want to keep following this, please consider joining the channel in this very small community. AI stands for Artificial Intelligence, which is the development of computer systems that are able to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence. It learns how to do this by collecting billions of data samples, finding the similarities, and then essentially collaging the data together. The moral issues arise from 3 different points. Number 1, what is the AI being trained to do? Number 2, where and what kind of data is the AI being trained on? And 3, if the AI is being used for profit, are the people who created the data that the AI is scraping from being compensated? For part 2 of this video, which you'll see later, I flew to South Carolina. When I was on the plane, I remember this little store that I visited in December on the main strip of Greenville, which is very expensive. Here's the video from December.
We've come to this, guys. We're selling prints of AI-generated dogs. Hell yeah. Artistry lives on, guys. We got this. Very nice.
Suffice to say, it pissed me off bad. I left a review, and just a few weeks ago, they finally replied with this.
We purchase artwork from a supplier that we believe will be affordable and desirable to the variety of customers that shop at our store.
Like, that doesn't answer my question. Like, it is really hard to make money as an artist, especially if you're in a southern state where people don't really appreciate the art world as much. So seeing a shop in downtown Greenville, which is well known to be where you go and shop local, it was infuriating to see that they had the funds to keep that business up and running, but wanted to support AI instead of actual local artists. So I decided to come back and have a little visit.
Okay, so I will be using these glasses, which now you can see me and I see you, and we're gonna go and see if they admit to using AI or not.
My hope is that they've either like completely taken the AI stuff down and started to use real artists, or they've at least lessened it. And holy shit, could I have not been more wrong? They didn't take the art down, or at least start maybe introducing some more local artists into the mix, but instead they filled every fucking nook and cranny of the place with shitty print-on-demand prints of AI generated bullshit. They even had a table in the middle of the store that was literally just piles of AI.
All these they're organized by breed, I think.
Dog as watercolor, dog as pixels, dogs as anime.
Oh my god, they have anime ones.
Dogs as bush, I guess. Cat, dog, unicorn, butterfly, anime girl, whatever, shirts, shorts, water bottle. They literally had just AI printed on everything. It was insane. It's like I walked into a physical manifestation of AIville, including this fantastically terrifying portrait of a family with puppies that like seemingly melted into their skin. I don't really know who they expected to buy that, but clearly they were ordering any animal-related image that their AI art scraper dude could spit out. There were no names of any artists in sight, no names on the back, and specifically, and most importantly, no mention of AI. However, maybe conveniently, maybe not, there was a single image atop of the AI pile with its business name plastered on the front of it, which of course led my mom to believe that was the one who was making all of the art, because they were literally on top of the pile and the only name that was mentioned in this pile, this mountain. I assume that many others probably would have come to the same conclusion. However, when I looked it up, was a dog breeder. When my mom asked the lady at the front desk if what we were looking at was done by
Is this so?
She nodded and said, mm-hmm. So I kept looking around, remarking about the sheer amount of prints there were.
Oh my gosh, so much. Oh my god, there's so many.
It wasn't until I asked the front lady directly, who I could tell was getting suspicious of me asking so many questions and wearing sunglasses inside. So they did all of these?
So they did all these?
Like they designed all of them?
They like designed all these?
And then she said,
No, those are all AI generated.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Finally, yes, they are AI generated. I didn't expect her to come up with some kind of like big grand conspiracy, obviously. The issue is that AI is inherently deceiving, right? It's quite literally trained off of human work, and it's trained to look like human-made art. Not only because it's art, and art is made by humans, but because also when Miss Jessica, mid-50s, doesn't really know what AI is, gets tricked a lot on Facebook by it.
What's up, Greg, and welcome back to another episode of Boomers Getting Fooled by AI on Facebook.
Comes in to buy what she thinks is a local, handmade work of art. She doesn't know that what she's actually buying from this business is a smorgasbord of copyrighted, stolen work from other artists who had absolutely, positively no say in the matter, and right now have no way to get their work back. But that was just one in-person example. Most people don't shop for art in person nowadays because it's much, much more convenient on a little online boutique called Etsy. Etsy is actually what made me want to start this whole two-part doc in the first place. When I was looking to decorate this room when I first moved in like maybe 4 months ago, I was looking to decorate my room with stuff that mattered to me. So I looked up vintage feminist poster, and my first thought was, damn, who knew we had so many great, well-preserved vintage pictures of protests? And then I clicked on it, and I zoomed in, and I thought, oh god. The sour realization that AI was not only allowed on Etsy, but now had completely infiltrated a good chunk of real estate that once was where artists could actually try and make a living was infuriating. Home decor, posters, custom portraits.
Hi, editing Emma here. I also just found AI generated old witches that will apparently make your dreams come true. Thank you 21st Century for that wonderful invention.
Which way, Western man? Snapchat looking ass family painting or fake historical photo to empower you throughout your workday? When I tried to confront these sellers about why they were calling their AI generated bullshit handmade art or trying to pass it off as a vintage historical image, it was quite the experience.
Dude, I'm arguing with a Etsy seller right now who's like selling a bunch of AI art and passing it off as like custom portraiture. And she's telling me like, she's like trying to go on a moral argument with me. What is going on?
I either got no response or straight up lying and claiming that it wasn't AI and that they actually made it themselves, or a long-winded philosophical debate about how my definition of handmade is not what her definition is. The fact that they changed some things in Photoshop after the fact means that they carefully crafted it. To me, handmade means that you made it, and to the dictionary, handmade means made by someone using their hands rather than using a machine. Caitlin Tiffany at The Atlantic wrote a really, really wonderful article called AI Junk is Flooding Etsy, which sums it up pretty well. It dives into AI influencers, self-proclaimed self-starters who are seemingly making bank off of promoting the fantasy that you can get rich quick and super, super easy from selling AI-generated content online. And all it costs is your morals. Yippee! Yay! From the article, Caitlin writes in reference to an AI influencer who claims you can make a ton of passive income off of selling fake AI art as children's coloring books. The host asks ChatGPT to list some of the ideas for children's coloring pages, then puts those ideas into Midjourney and generate the images. The images are impressive in that they look basically like coloring book pages. However, in one image, a chicken has 3 legs, and in another, a fox has a bird mouth. The host doesn't seem to notice this or make any kind of comments about it. These are supposed to be sold to children who, in part, are still learning and still solidifying in their brains what animals look like. But that's just a small example of these AI influencers looking to make a quick buck infiltrating the education space. When I started really looking for these, the algorithm started just fucking throwing them at me like I actually wanted to purchase them or something.
I was just looking at Etsy and look at this. It's a math workbook that on the first page has math spelt wrong with 2 T's and the numbers are just like completely nonsensical. Why is there a clock? And what is this circle thing? Oh my god. That's crazy.
To English, to ironically, how to draw books, which, by the way, are not just fooling kids. They're getting so good that one of the professional artists on YouTube actually got fooled by it because of their clever and elusive marketing tactics.
I got served this ad for a book on like drawing, and I bought it. So I just got the bundle of 4, spent $95 US. And then I'm like, uh-oh, I think I know what's happened here. Okay, well, there's no name. There's no person. All products are created by artists who have studied portrait painting for many years. Who? Who has started? Where is their name? So it's chock full of just stuff. Half the time the text barely correlates with what's being shown of like what is this? Like combine the ball with other basic forms. It just makes no sense as a guide. It was only thought out enough to be convincing on a surface level to be purchased. That is the entire purpose of this.
When asked about the concern of AI infiltrating into the company, an Etsy spokesperson declined to comment on the record for the story, but the company's policy is that AI-generated digital products are permissible because some level of creativity is still involved. To me, writing an image and then seeing an image pop up that relates to what you said is not creative. With that mentality, anyone using Google Images is creative. Jade Scene, a long-term clip art designer who was lucky enough to turn her side hustle in college into a full-time career, told Caitlin her sales had dropped about 50% since the end of last year, which is when AI started hitting the Etsy marketplace. And in a way, most heartbreakingly, she said, "It's kind of hard to not draw conclusions when you're very obviously competing in a space that is no longer for you." This is the last topic of part 1 for this exact reason. It's why we need to be concerned, not just as artists, but as a family member, as a mother, daughter, father, friend, human, about AI. The term deepfake was initially popularized on a Reddit forum. The act of creating a digital copy of someone's face and pasting it convincingly on a or someone else just having sex. Reddit banned the subreddit, but it was a ball that started rolling, and naturally the conversation and the technology grew with it. Eventually, it started making headline news and appearing on late-night talk shows about the dangers, but also simultaneously a lighthearted version of deepfakes. And to this day, I don't think people really understand that the term deepfake came from something so insanely sinister. Researchers at Deep Trace found that out of all of the deepfakes that they could possibly find on the internet, 96% of them were non-consensual deepfakes, with assumingly the majority of these people having no idea that they even existed. And it was quickly becoming an underground industry. Users who started to pick up that this was a thing that people were starting to be able to do would go online to these forums and pay these creeps to make a custom deepfake, and all they needed was a video of their victim. And it wasn't just celebrities anymore. Any internet-facing person has a viable concern that they might become a victim themselves. And that was 3 years ago, before AI even exploded. And this is now. Now, some of the bigger AI sites claim they won't take any suggestive prompts, but researchers and journalists who are critical of the morally gray existence of AI in general are saying otherwise. Sites like Midjourney claim that their users are not allowed to create explicit or material on purpose, maintaining a certain PG-13 rating by blocking certain keywords, which, in my opinion, is about the same level of archaic security that any MMO RPG in the 2010s used. Like, literally, that is Club Penguin level type of bullshit. MJ Banyas at The Debrief, an independent tech journal, decided to put this to the test, and broke, allegedly, its PG-13 rating almost immediately. Walking around its archaic word filter seemed to be a breeze, changing the word blood to red syrup, or naked girl on the beach to beach party, and trying a few times seemed to work just fine. And it proved that not only were the restrictions ineffective, but that these AI sites were trained on some kind of actual imagery. And that's when I fell into a rabbit hole that made me feel so ill that I had to step away from the computer for a little bit. A ground-shaking Forbes article popped up in December online, but you probably never saw it. Stable Diffusion 1.5 was trained on illegal child material, Stanford study says. Stanford researchers found that a large public dataset of billions of images used to train Stable Diffusion and some of its peers like Midjourney, called LAION5B, contains hundreds of known images of child material, abbreviated to CSAM. The researchers, who found more than 3,000 pieces of suspected CSAM in the public training data, caution that the actual volume is likely far more higher. The U.S. National Center for Missing and Exploited Children said it had received 4,700 reports about content generated by artificial intelligence that depicted of a child, just in 2022. And 2022 was the first year that these AI giants we know now were coming out. We are 3 years deep now. The lawlessness that exists not only in the creation of an AI, but the use of AI is being used in the worst ways. And with its lack of regulation, it is only getting worse.
Deepfake crushing high school girls in Westfield, New Jersey.
They were innocent pictures taken at a high school prom, images turned explicit.
Artificial intelligence is being used to create nude photos of high school students. This time, it's happening at Laguna Beach High School.
Their faces pasted on top of graphic images and then posted on a website.
And it's happening more and more frequently with younger and younger children as revenge, blackmail, and maybe even the worst of all, sexual gratification for creeps online. I don't want you to leave this video feeling doomed. That's never my goal. If anything, I want you to know that we are potentially in one of the best positions we ever have been in right now to take a stand against AI malpractice. We are just a few years into its popularization, and the general public is still pretty weary about it. As an artist, your voice matters tenfold more than it did a few years ago because you are at the center of this matter. And now more than ever, it is your time to speak up. Use your voice to inform other people that may not know, support other artists, and raise some hell so we can start regulating this bullshit. I have been inspired by the artists that I've seen standing up.
It is an honor to testify before you today about AI and copyright. My name is Carla Ortiz. I am a concept artist, illustrator, and fine artist, and you may not know my name, but you know my work.
We are not taking this lying down. There's been sweeping motions in the court of law, on the streets, in public, on the web, of people protesting AI art and photo generation. And we, you and I, and everyone else watching, we need to keep this energy up. In the next video of the series, I'll be checking up on two completely different states from the exact opposite ends of the US. Can you teach people to identify and consistently see through AI? And I'll be giving to you the exact same telltale signs, tips, tricks of how to spot AI that I gave my test subjects. So that you and anyone else following along in the series can get better at cutting through the AI bullshit and finally stop being tricked and be a voice of reason for others. I'll see you next time.